Inc. is a subsidy of Ayala Land Inc.
Can you please tell the court in what capacity you are employed or connected with this company?
I was hired, sir, as a property manager, and I was assigned to the Columns Ayala Avenue Condominium Corporation.
All right. Now, when you say you were hired as a property manager, what do you mean? What does a property manager do?
A property manager, sir, is the one who manages the common area of the property itself.
All right. Now, you informed us that you were assigned to
The Columns Ayala Avenue Condominium
the
Corporation.
Columns
sir.
Ayala. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Is this Columns, this is a condominium? I
Yes, sir.
take it?
It is already under Condominium Corporation.
All right. It is a condominium. And is it owned by the company you represent?
No, Your Honor, it was already under the Condominium Corporation, the association itself.
Wait a minute. Anyway, you were assigned to this company, to this Columns project.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is it specifically that you do for the Columns condominium?
I am the one, sir, who manages all the common area of the property, sir.
Would I be correct in describing you as the general manager or the building administrator?
Building administrator, Your Honor.
As building administrator, Mr. Lim, what are your duties in relation to the residents of the Columns condominium?
Basically, sir, we are the one who handles the common area of the building itself. Now, we also entertain complaints from the unit owners. Yes, sir.
I understand. Now, when you receive complaints from the unit owners, what do you normally do with these complaints?
It depends on the complaint, sir. Basically, if the complaint is based on the common area, for example, for the cleanliness or any equipment of the building, we handle it.
Can you tell us, Mr. Lim, if you perform any financial functions in the discharge of your job or work as building administrator?
Objection, Your Honor. Question is leading, and the witness has already stated that his only duties are to manage the common areas and act on
May I
complaints.
answer?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, please, Mr. Lim. Tell us if there are any financial functions related to your work.
Actually, sir, the only financial functions is basically we are under association already. So under association, we bill condominium dues.
I'm sorry?
We bill condominium dues, sir.
You bill condominium dues?
Yes, sir.
What does that mean, Mr. Lim?
The association dues itself, sir, of the building itself.
What do you do with these association dues?
That funds, sir, are the ones who we use for the managing of the whole common areas of the buildings.
So, do I understand it that the association dues is a fund which you use for the upkeep? Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, that's
All
correct.
right. Now, where is this where are these association dues kept?
Basically, sir, this is under, we have, the association has its own bank. We build it, then we collect it.
When you say we bill it, what do you mean we bill it? We bill what? Mr.
We
Witness?
build the association dues, sir. Then if the unit owners paid already, then we put in the bank of the association.
You bill the individual condominium owners,
Yes, Your Honor.
and then you put that in the bank account
Yes, Your Honor.
to be used for the management of the common areas,
Yes, Your Honor.
like disposal of garbage, janitorial services, electrical repairs, repairs for other facilities of the building.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Now, Mr. Lim, thank you, Your Honor. Are you responsible? Who is responsible? I'm sorry. Who is responsible for billing the homeowners or the residents?
The property manager itself, sir.
Are you referring to yourself?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, if a resident refuses to pay, what do you do?
Normally, sir, on the condominium laws, we send billing. Then, if we didn't receive any payments yet, we send demand letters.
A demand letter. Who is the signatory of your demand letters when you send them, Mr. Lim?
Basically, the property manager itself, sir.
Are there any other demand letters sent aside from those signed by the
Counsel,
property
just a
manager?
minute.
Yes, Your Honor.
What's the relevance of all of this line of questioning? When
Your
you
Honor.
presented this witness
I'm coming to that, Your Honor.
to explain why it was the condominium was bought on a prior year only to be reflected in the SALN in a subsequent year.
Yes, Your Honor. The point that will be shown is that there were some issues that
All
precluded.
right, go to the point.
Yes. I would like to show you a document. Do you recognize this document? May we please make of record that I'm sending a document to the witness, and I invite counsel for the prosecution to inspect the same.
There's no basis for the document, Your Honor, without introduction.
Your Honor, you just said that they prepared demand letters. Do you recognize the document, Mr. Lim?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you tell us what this document is, if you know?
This is the final demand letter, sir, sent by our corporate secretary of the association to
Final demand to whom?
to Mrs. Corona, sir.
Who is Mrs. Corona? What's her name?
To Mrs. Christina Corona, Your Honor.
Was he occupying the property?
No, Your Honor.
Who was occupying the property?
None, Your Honor.
Nobody.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, proceed.
Your Honor, may request that the document identified by the counsel be adopted, by the witness and the counsel, be adopted as defense exhibit number 195.
You are marking that document as exhibit?
Yes, Your Honor, as exhibit number 195.
Mark it accordingly.
All right, can you tell us, please, Mr. Witness, who executed this document? Who signed it?
Our corporate secretary of the association, sir.
May we know the name of the corporate secretary?
Attorney Joselito John G. Blando.
Yes. Did he prepare this document on his own initiative?
No, Your Honor. This was approved by the board. Basically, when we have a board meeting, the board approved that we send final demand letters using our corporate secretary to the delinquent owners for them to pay the association dues.
Going back to the document, Mr. Witness, do you confirm that what I see on this document, which says, under these circumstances, final demand is hereby made upon you to pay your outstanding obligation to our client in the amount stated above within 10 days from your receipt of this letter. Do you confirm those words on the document?
No, Your Honor. Basically, this was issued by our corporate secretary.
Do these words appear on the document, Mr. Lim?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lim, can you tell us what is the amount of the that is being demanded by the condominium corporation in relation to this letter?
112,213 pesos, 213 and 79 cents.
112,000.
112,213.79.
Yes. Was this amount paid, Mr. Lim?
Only the principal amount, Your Honor.
I'm showing you photocopies of receipts apparently issued by the Columns Ayala Avenue Condominium Corporation, and I invite the counsel for the prosecution to inspect the same. Right. Your Honor, we are showing the witness one sheet of paper which contains the photocopies of two official receipts. the upper half, can you please tell us, can you please explain to us what is this upper half of the document, of the paper?
The upper half, Your Honor, is the original receipt number 24141,
Yes.
paid by Mrs. Christina Corona, Unit 31B, Tower 1,
For how much? How much?
amounting to 78,162.36.
Yes.
All right. May we request that the upper half of the document be marked as Defense Exhibit 195A, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Can,
Mark it accordingly.
thank you. Thank you. Your Honor, now, Mr. Witness, can you please explain to us what appears on the lower half of the document?
This is another payment, sir. Official receipt number 24142, paid by Mrs. Christina Corona, Unit 31B, Tower 1, amounting to 30,132 pesos.
May we request that the bottom half of the document be marked as Exhibit 195B?
Mark it accordingly. Are those two receipts bearing the same dates?
Yes, Your Honor.
They bear the same dates.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, just a manifestation. The documents presented were not originals. They appear to be photocopies of an original document that was not presented.
We concur, Your Honor. We will produce the originals as soon as we are able for the inspection of our
Proceed.
counsel. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. Okay. Now, Mr. Lim, you said that in the first receipt, the amount paid was 78,162.26.
Yes, sir.
And then you said that in the second receipt, the amount paid was 30,132.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you tell us, Mr. Lim, what was the total payment made by Christina Corona based on these two receipts?
Most approximately, sir, at 108,000.
108,000. 108,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, am I correct, Mr. Lim, that you mentioned earlier that your demand letter was for the amount of 112,000? Was that correct? Or
Yes.
so?
Yes, Your Honor.
I think the amount mentioned was
112,000. 213.79.
Yes. But these two receipts amount to only 108,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Am I correct, therefore, that there is a deficit of about 4,000 more or less?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, does Mrs. Corona owe the condominium corporation 4,000 pesos more or less after these payments?
Yes, Your Honor. Upon not approval of the waiving of interest and penalties.
What do you mean, waiving of the interest and penalties?
Basically, Your Honor, in the condominium laws, we put interest and penalties for delinquent members who not paying their delinquent due. They're not paying their delinquent dues, Your Honor.
And were there interests and penalties charged to Mrs. Corona?
Yes, Your Honor, for the 112,000.
For the 112,000 you mentioned earlier,
Yes, Your Honor, that is inclusive of interest and penalties.
your testimony is that it included penalties and interests.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you also testified that based on these receipts, she paid less than 112,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you tell us, please, Mr. Lim, what happened to the penalties and interests being claimed from Mrs. Corona? If you know?
Already answered, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, he answered the basis of the penalties.
Let him answer so that we can finish.
Mrs. Corona approached me and asked me if I can waive the interest and penalties. Most likely, Your Honor, the procedure is that the unit owner must write a letter to the board of directors to request to waive the interest and penalties.
Mr. Lim, may I ask you to stop there? You said she must write a letter.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did she write a letter?
Yes, Your Honor.
I am showing you a letter. Do you recognize
Wait a
it?
minute, Counsel.
Your-
What has this line of questioning got to do with the reflection of this condominium?
Your Honor, the
unit
letter
design?
will contain precisely the reason for the delay in accepting the delivery. The witness is about to testify why there was an underpayment, and the reasons for that are contained in the letter.
In other words, the condominium unit was not yet delivered to the Coronas?
That is the question in this case, Your Honor, because the
What do you mean the question?
the title was transferred early on, but there were, I think, in 2004 or 2005, but there were outstanding issues which the owner, or the registered owner, in this case Mrs. Corona, could not settle with the condominium corporation. That is contained in the letter, Your Honor.
But if the title was already transferred to the Coronas, then formally they are the owners.
There was no acceptance, Your Honor.
But they've been billing them with juice already, and they paid.
If you will allow me to continue, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Honor, may I just make a manifestation before we proceed? The letter that was presented by the witness appears to be a photocopy again, in violation of the best evidence rule, and it appears to be a self-serving letter, Your Honor.
They already promised to produce the original. If they cannot produce it, then you make the proper motion at the proper time.
You submit, Your Honor.
At any rate, Your Honor, the witness will identify this as a photocopy. Do you recognize this photocopy, Mr. Lim?
Yes, Your Honor.
It is a photocopy of what, if you don't mind?
This is the letter of Mrs. Cristina Corona to the Board of Directors of the Columns Ayala Avenue Condominium Corporation, Your Honor.
What is the purpose of this letter, Mr. Lim?
Objection, Your Honor. Best evidence would be the letter.
All right, very well. Do you confirm, therefore, that the letter contains this paragraph? This is also to request for the waiver of penalties and interests incurred from commencement of payments, what is this? Which Mr. Benz Lim allowed, pending confirmation by the board members. In applying for this waiver, I would like the board of directors to be informed of the ordeals that I have gone through with this unit. When I first inspected my unit, I couldn't because the columns administration had turned it into a bodega, storage place filled with debris from other units, dirty brooms, mops were on my kitchen counters. The tools, brooms, and mops were on my kitchen counters. The toilets were stinking. The kitchen sink was a mess. It is also disinfected now because I spent time, money to clean up their mess and to disinfect the kitchen counters. Further, this unit has had a history of various defects: undersized electrical wires, leaking roof, damaged floors, unfinished windows, jams, etc., etc. Do you confirm that that appears in the photocopy I'm showing you,
Your
Mr.
Honor,
Lim?
the same objection, whether or not it appears in the document, will be borne by the document.
It's
Your
merely
Honor.
confirmatory, Your Honor.
Sustain.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, what did you do when you received this letter, Mr. Lim?
I forward this to the Board of Directors, dated May of 2011 on our board meeting. Basically, the board approved the request to waive the interest and penalties.
What do you mean the board approved the request? What did that mean? How much was waived?
Basically, sir, it's amounting to 18,000, approximately.
So, let us go back. You testified that the demand was for 112,000 and some change.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now you're telling me that they waived 18,000 and some change.
Yes, Your Honor.
That means that the only obligation to you must have been about 98,000? No, I'm sorry, 94,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Am
I
I
would like
correct?
to explain for that, Your Honor.
Could you please, Mr. Lim?
The payment that was paid by Mrs. Cristina Corona, dated April 6, 2011, which I explained it, this is from the third quarter of 2009 going to the first quarter of 2011. So, second quarter of 2011, basically the 112,000 that our corporate secretary of the association given the demand letter is that is only from third quarter of 2009 to first quarter of 2011, Your Honor. So basically, Mrs. Cristina Corona paid also the next billing, which is second quarter 2011, amounting to 15,000, which is not included for the interest and penalties, because this is a due billing. This is only the updated billing.
Just a minute.
Yes, Your Honor.
The dispute is about the condition of the unit. Is this correct?
That is right, Your Honor. That is right,
I'm asking
Your
the
Honor.
witness.
I'm sorry.
Can you repeat the question, Your Honor?
The dispute between the developer and Mrs. Corona was about the condition of the unit she bought from the developer.
I don't have an idea for that, Your Honor.
Because the letter says about this dirty condition of the unit.
Yes, Your Honor, but basically the letter is forwarded to the Board of Directors, which is all.
I will put this question to you. The unit was bought by Mrs. Corona,
Yes, Your Honor.
fully paid.
For that, I don't have an idea, Your Honor. This is for the developer
But
concerned.
it was already owned by her, so much so that association dues were being billed on her.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so the only question is her acceptance of the unit.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right? And yet this was not included in the SALN of the Chief Justice.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right?
He would not know, Your
You
Honor.
did not consider that a value to be included in the SAL of the Statement of Assets and Liabilities?
Your Honor, if you will recall, during the prosecution's evidence in chief,
Yes.
the testimony was that there was no formal acceptance of the delivery and that the documents of
All
the
right,
developer will
correct,
show.
Correct.
Yes.
But there was already a value transferred to the seller.
But that value was under dispute because of the defects, Your Honor.
Precisely. But did not the Mrs. Corona pay money for the unit?
Yes, and she was
Why did
asking
you-
for it back, Your Honor.
Why did you not report that in your SALN as a collectible?
Your Honor, because they wanted the money returned. The unit was
Precisely.
defective.
In other words, you considered that there was no transaction, so that
Yes, Your Honor.
the developer owes you money.
That is precisely
That's
correct,
just an
Your Honor.
asset.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So, proceed.
So, Mr. Lim, do you know if there were any dues collected from or demanded from Mrs. Corona before 2009?
I don't have an idea, sir, because I just started to be a property manager of the Columns Ayala Avenue since 2010.
I see. And yet you have access to the records of the corporation.
Yes, Your Honor.
By the way, Mr. Lim, did you present Mrs. Corona with a statement of account for the 112,000 that was the subject of your demand letter earlier?
I remember, sir, this was attached from the final demand letter sent by our corporate secretary.
Yes, in fact, it is my mistake. I'm showing you now. Just to complete the documentation, Your Honor, the statement of account, that was the basis for the demand letter.
That is not the one, sir.
What? Yes. Can you please?
Same manifestation, Your Honor. The document presented is a photocopy.
Wait. There you go. Sorry, I brought the wrong one. Yeah. Is this the statement of account?
A photocopy of the statement of account?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. May we request that the statement of account be marked as, sorry. No, 196? Yes, 196A. Yeah, or unless it was marked differently. No? 196A, because this is attached to the letter, yes.
That's why you want 195
Yeah, 195A.
Counsel, until
Yes, Your
now,
Honor.
Until now, this court cannot understand your line of questioning. The question is, there is a value involved here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was that included in the SALN of the Chief Justice?
Yes, Your Honor, it was.
It was included?
Yes.
In what way?
It was included later, Your Honor.
No, at the time,
Oh, it was declared. At the time, there was no mention of the
at the time
columns.
of the acquisition, at the time of the payment.
Your Honor, the payment was made in installments. And then the title was transferred. But the transfer of the title, if I recall, 2004 or 2005. If I recall correctly, Your Honor, the property was not formally accepted until this time when...
But was the installment payment completed?
Yes, Your Honor.
At that time, but it was not accepted.
To the best of my knowledge, yes, that is the way it happened, Your Honor. Not accepted by the buyer, Your Honor.
When was the completion of the installment?
At around that time when the title was transferred, Your Honor.
But that's already a value. Fully pay, that ought to be reflected in the SALN.
But that is also a defective sale, Your Honor.
It doesn't matter. There is a value. Then if the owner wanted to rescind the contract, he could have entered it as a receivable.
That is what happened in the interregnum, Your Honor. There was a dispute.
Anyway, proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. President,
Senator Sbenya.
may I just have be clarified on a couple of points. First, some questions to the prosecution counsel. The sale for the columns took place on what year, sir? What year?
2004, Your Honor.